Hi there, I'm Nadine Taylor, a memoirist and nonfiction writer, talking specifically to those of you who are thinking of writing a memoir. I have several published memoirs to my name, including Diana and Dodie, the story of Princess Diana's final days, and my latest work, If My Heart Had Wings, a World War II love story, the story of my mother's secret marriage to a pilot killed during World War II. Now, I'm sure you also have a great story to tell, but you may be wondering how to begin. And this is an important issue because many of your prospective readers will read the first couple of sentences of your book and decide immediately whether or not they want to buy it. So your entire opening needs to be catchy and interesting and to capture the flavor of your memoir. For example, in The Glass Castle, which is the story of a deeply dysfunctional family, author Jeanette Walls begins, "I was sitting in a taxi, wondering if I had overdressed for the evening, when I looked out the window and saw Mom rooting through a dumpster." This sentence is not only shocking and attention-grabbing, but a forewarning of things to come. Elizabeth Gilbert opens Eat, Pray, Love, her meditation on love in its many forms, with, "I wish Giovanni would kiss me." Oh, but there are so many reasons why this would be a terrible idea. This opening is romantic, introspective, funny, and full of longing, just like her memoir. Rewrites, a memoir written by the famous playwright Neil Simon, begins, "In the spring of 1957, I was unhappily in California working on a television special. I was 30 years old and knew that if I didn't start writing that first Broadway play soon, I would inevitably become a permanent part of the topography of the West Coast." In a matter-of-fact way, he tells you who he is, how he feels, where he's going, and what year it is in just 2 sentences. While this intro isn't quite as scintillating as our first 2 examples, Neil Simon doesn't need to be quite so catchy because we already know who he is. But if you're not so well known, you'll need to make your opening a bit more evocative. But don't build up to an interesting, catchy, evocative beginning. Begin with the very first sentence. How do you do this? There are 2 very good ways. Start just before and begin with a dream. Starting just before. It certainly seems logical to begin your memoir with a pivotal event in your life. But to increase the tension and set the stage, you might want to start by briefly describing what you were doing in the hours, minutes, or seconds before this pivotal event occurred. Starting just before can be a great way to introduce yourself, your situation, and the state of the world around you, and then propel you into an action-packed sequence. For example, in A Woman in Berlin, the tale of a German woman's experiences during the Russian occupation of Berlin in 1945, the author begins, "It's true. The war is rolling toward Berlin. What was yesterday a distant rumble has now become a constant roar. We breathe the din. Our ears are deafened to all but the heaviest guns." The author and her neighbors can do nothing but sit in their apartments and wait for the apocalypse to come. You can use the technique of beginning a memoir just before with just about any important event. For example, you're waiting in the wings before going on stage to deliver a stunning or disastrous performance. You're tightening the strap on your helmet and shouldering your rifle just before you charge across an open battlefield under fire. You're mounted up and at the starting gate at the Kentucky Derby, murmuring encouraging words into your horse's ear just before the starting gun goes off and the gates are thrown open. Beginning a memoir just before does more than simply set the stage. It's a springboard that grabs the reader's attention, draws them in, and makes them want to go along with you on this wild, exciting ride. But keep it brief. Readers can lose patience with lengthy descriptions. Grab their attention and pull them into your story immediately. The second technique is begin with a dream. A memoir is a true account of a slice of your life, but sometimes the best beginning doesn't come from absolute reality. It may come from a dream. In the dark and fascinating memoir, Shot in the Heart, Michael Gilmore begins with a dream that introduces every member of his family, reveals important details about each one, and describes how each died. For example, there is my mother, Bessie Gilmore, who lived a life of bitter losses, who died spitting blood, calling the names of her father and her husband. There's my brother Gary, who murdered innocent men in rage against the way life had robbed him of too much time and too much love, and who died when a volley of bullets tore his violent, tortured heart from his chest. And there is my father, Frank Sr., who died from the ravages and insults of cancer. In recounting this dream, Michael sets the stage for a harrowing tale of a family gone terribly wrong, a tale that will involve many deaths, including the famous firing squad execution of his brother Gary Gilmore in Utah in 1977. In short, grab them with the first sentence. There are several ways to do this, but two of the best are start just before and begin with the dream. Do this and you'll greatly increase your chances of converting prospective readers into enthusiastic and interested actual readers. Thanks for your attention. In future YouTube presentations, I'll be looking at more on writing memoirs and other kinds of nonfiction books, at self-publishing, finding an agent, and more, so be sure to keep coming back to see the latest videos. In the meantime, check out my latest book, If My Heart Had Wings, a World War II love story, on Amazon by clicking the link below. If you'd like to contact me, go to my website at barryfox.us.